Elijah Cross was 5 years old the first time he realized no one was coming for him. It was December. A Tuesday. He was left outside a laundromat on Warren Street. A woman in a red coat walked away. He never saw her face. That was the beginning. And for 18 years, the beginning never ended. Tonight, at 23, Elijah sits on a milk crate behind an abandoned tire shop. His stomach is empty. His coat is soaked. And inside his chest, something harder than concrete has grown where his heart used to be. The streets taught him early. At 7, he learned that shelters require ID he didn't have. At 9, he learned that a smile could get you a sandwich, but silence got you left alone. At 12, he learned that some men look at a boy in a doorway and see nothing. Not a child. Not a story. Just furniture. He survived on what he calls the 3 agreements. 1. Never sleep in the same place twice in a row. 2. Never trust anyone who offers you a ride before they offer you food. 3. If you cry, do it in the rain. That way, no one sees. He has followed those rules for 18 years. And they have never failed him. They have also never saved him. Every Sunday, the music spills out onto the sidewalk. Voices rising. Hands lifted. He's done so much for me, I cannot tell it all. Elijah listens from the curb. He hears the word saved. He hears delivered. He hears miracle. And inside his chest, that concrete thing shifts, not toward belief, but toward something colder. Where was my miracle? Who was praying for me when I was 10 years old and eating ketchup packets from a gas station? Tonight is different. Tonight, he doesn't just listen. Tonight, he opens the door. Deaconess Grace is preaching. Her voice is gravel and honey. Somebody here tonight is tired of pretending. The congregation murmurs. Yes, Lord. You've been asking God for proof. A sign. A burning bush. But what if God's proof isn't fire from heaven? What if it's breath in your lungs after a night you should have died? Elijah stands in the back. Arms crossed. Jaw tight. A man beside him, heavy coat, work boots, kind eyes, whispers, first time? Elijah doesn't answer. But he doesn't leave. Marcus brings him a bowl of porridge. No lecture. No Bible verse. Just said, eat. You look like you haven't in a while. Elijah eats. Slowly. Carefully. Like he's tasting something he forgot existed. Then he puts down the spoon. I don't believe in your God, he says. Marcus doesn't flinch. Didn't ask you to. Then why are you being nice to me? Marcus leans back. Because you're still alive. And that means something. Elijah's voice drops. Low. Dangerous. I've been alive for 23 years. No parents. No home. No one. If your God is real, he owes me an answer. One question. Just one. Why am I still here? Marcus is quiet for a long time. Then he rolls up his left pant leg. Below the knee, a prosthetic limb. Dark plastic. Simple. No decoration. I lost this because my foster father locked me in a basement for 3 days when I was 12. I got gangrene before anyone found me. Elijah stares. I prayed every single night in that basement, Marcus says. I prayed until my throat bled. And God didn't answer. Not with a voice. Not with an angel. Not with a door popping open. What I got was a social worker named Ruth who showed up 2 hours too late to save my leg, but right on time to save my life. She adopted me. Raised me. Sent me to trade school. And when I asked her, why didn't God come sooner, she said. Marcus pauses. She said, you're asking the wrong question. Don't ask why he was late. Ask why you're still breathing. That night, Elijah doesn't sleep. He climbs the fire escape of an abandoned garment factory. His spot. The only place where no one can touch him. He takes out the cardboard. He writes, God, if you're there, I don't want a sermon. I don't want a sign in the sky. I want one reason. One reason I shouldn't step off this roof tonight. You have until sunrise. Elijah. He folds the note. Tucks it into the pocket of his hoodie. Then he waits. 1 hour. 2. The wind picks up. Nothing. At 4:55 a.m., Elijah climbs down from the roof. He doesn't jump. Not because he found a reason. Because he's tired. And jumping takes energy he doesn't have. He walks to his usual spot under the Jefferson Street Bridge. And he stops. Someone is already there. An old woman. Yellow coat. Slow hands. She is smoothing out a blanket like she's making a bed for a king. She looks up. Elijah. He freezes. How do you know my name? Marcus called me. Said there was a young man who needed to know he was seen. I'm Ruth. Elijah's breath catches. The Ruth. The one who adopted Marcus. The one who showed up 2 hours late but still came. I walked 2 miles, she says. My knees hurt. But you're here. So I'm here. I wrote God a letter tonight, Elijah says. What did you ask him? Ruth says. Why I'm still alive. Ruth nods slowly. I asked that same question 50 years ago, when my son died. Elijah looks at her. He was 20. College boy. Hit by a drunk driver on his way home to tell me he got a promotion. I didn't speak to God for 3 years. Not one word. Then one night, I found a boy in a dumpster behind a Piggly Wiggly. 10 years old. Eating a rotten apple. I asked his name. He said, nobody. And I said, no. Your name is Marcus. And you're coming with me. That was 38 years ago. Elijah's voice cracks. So God didn't save Marcus. You did. Ruth turns to face him. Her eyes are old but bright. No, child. God didn't send an angel. He sent a broken woman with a spare room and a stubborn heart. That's his proof. Not miracles. Not lightning. Just people who refuse to look away. Elijah finishes the sandwich. Then he asks again. Slower this time. But why me? Why am I the one still breathing when so many others aren't? Ruth is quiet. Then she says something that will stay with him for the rest of his life. Because someone is still looking for you. What? There's a child out there right now, tonight, sleeping in a stairwell. And one day, that child is going to need someone who knows exactly what it feels like to be forgotten. Not a pastor. Not a social worker. Just a man who survived long enough to say, I see you. I was you. And you are not nothing. That's why you're still alive, Elijah. Not for your sake. For theirs. Elijah stares at the concrete. For the first time in 18 years, something inside him cracks. Not breaks. Cracks. And through that crack, a sliver of light. The sun rises. Elijah is still under the bridge. Still breathing. He didn't jump. Not because he believes in God. Not because he has answers. Because an old woman with bad knees walked 2 miles in the dark to sit beside him. What do I do now? He asks. Ruth smiles. You start. You clean the church floors. You take the shelter bed. You show up tomorrow. And the next day. And the next. And one day, you'll see that child in the stairwell. And you'll know what to do. Elijah looks at the blanket in his hands. I don't know how to pray, he says. Ruth pats his arm. Then don't. Just say one word every morning when you wake up. What word? Again. 1 month later, Elijah is still here. He cleans the church floors every morning at 6 a.m. Marcus pays him under the table. $20 a day. Enough for meals. Enough for a locker at the bus station. He sleeps at the men's shelter on 12th Street. Bed 47. Top bunk. He still doesn't pray. But every morning, he whispers Ruth's word. Again. And every morning, the word feels less like a command and more like a promise. One evening, he finds a Bible left on a pew. He opens it. Not to read. Just to hold. His eyes fall on a passage. He reads it once. Twice. 3 times. Then he closes the book and puts it in his backpack. Elijah Cross still doesn't have all the answers. The hunger didn't vanish. The past didn't rewrite itself. But he is no longer asking, why am I still alive? He is asking a different question now. Who else is waiting for someone to show up? Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11 verse 28. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to get more scriptural teachings.